What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Baird podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a little bit of a weird dream I had and the plans for the future of the podcast. Make sure to stick around. The Baird Show! First and foremost, I'd like to thank you all for coming back to the podcast. It has been quite a while since I posted an episode. And the last episode I posted was talking about social media, and I did a bit of a Q&A, and I said that I was going to try and put out more episodes during quarantine, and to be honest, I haven't had a whole lot of inspiration to do much of anything, and I feel that that's probably because, well, there's really no reason. No one's saying you can't just stay in bed. And I like bed, so I've been staying in bed. But our story for the weird dream and the whole weird thing that's been happening, there's actually just kind of a really cool story. So anyways, since last episode, the account that I created, I completely shut down. I think it got to like 110 followers by the end of the week, which was not quite the goal, but it was halfway there. In half the time, but then I realized, well, this doesn't make sense. I already have like a social media presence. People will just be able to find this account from me. So it's still good photos. I'm still going to post them on my media account over at Baird Media on Instagram, in case you didn't know. Got to toss in that shameless self-promotion. But anyways, so since that last podcast came out, I've kind of been thinking, like, Does anyone enjoy this podcast? Does anyone listen to it at all? And, I mean, I was just kind of reconsidering the entire thing. And since then, I actually updated my channel art, which was a huge fight. For some reason, YouTube can't make their channel, like, banner art thing easy to use. You drop in a file, and it works. But it shows you, like, the preview for the different screens, and it'll only work on, like, iPhone, but it won't work on like a tablet or like a TV or laptop or anything. So I had to screw with that. So after probably like almost an hour of messing around and close to 30 different Photoshop variants, I got that done. So now my lettering looks good whether you're a light mode user or a dark mode user. And then I was like, okay, well, let's do a podcast. And so I sat down, started recording, and I was going to record about Lily's Garden. It's this mobile game company, and it has these really gross ads on YouTube. And, like, they made me feel dirty and gross just for watching them. Like, I felt like I needed a shower after watching these commercials, which were playing on supposedly, like, kid-friendly content, because I went to swipe down, and it wouldn't play in the little mini player thing, because it's kids' content, and yet they have these gross ads. So I don't know, I like that. I mean, I do know I don't like it, but I recorded that entire episode, and that was the first episode I recorded with camera. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'd know that I set up a new background for the podcast. I got some sound foam, and I made myself a sign with RGB lighting, and it looks really cool. But I did a whoops. I recorded the entire thing using my microphone, and I recorded all the audio in Audacity and recorded all the video using my phone, but I didn't start Audacity. So there's just this really tinny, echoey, crappy sounding podcast. So I ended up tossing that episode, and I didn't end up using it. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll try and re-record. And then I kind of fell into what I had already described of, like, almost like rethinking everything. Does anyone actually like this and all that? And so I just decided to go to bed, sleep on it. And I woke up in the morning and was still kind of thinking the same thing. And so I ended up hanging out with some friends that day. And while I was hanging out with my friends, I got a little bored and slipped back into the thinking about the podcast. So I went onto my analytics page, was looking through it, and it said I had a new comment, which for some reason I didn't get the notification for. And I saw, I love your show. Would you want to do a collab? I was like, well, this seems weird. So I look at the channel name, and the channel name is Baird. So after a little bit more research and finding this dude's Instagram from his YouTube channel, he is he actually has some YouTube videos. He's basically a small YouTuber from Perth, Australia. And he found my YouTube channel while Googling himself. So I responded to his comment and said, like, hey, I think that'd be really cool. Do you want to do something? Send me a DM on Instagram or whatever, so we don't have to discuss in a YouTube comment section. And a day went by, and nothing. So I had kind of like thought, well, this isn't going to happen. But then I shut my phone off and I went to bed. And I woke up the next morning and there was a DM from this guy, and he said that, yeah, that would be great. I'd like to do that. So now, long story short, I am organizing a podcast episode with another Dylan Baird from Perth, Australia, and I'm super excited because that's going to be super cool. And so I kind of redid my podcast setup, like my backdrop a little bit. And I also, one of the reasons I've been putting off recording episodes is it's hard to set up for. I'm recording in a bedroom, so I have to get my laptop set up. I have to get Audacity running. I have to get my tripod, all the lights. And I have to put my mic on this homemade mic stand thing that I made. It's like a boom arm. Excuse me. And it's too difficult to record. So I decided this isn't working. What could I do to make it better? So I found like a USB extension cable. I ran it out from under my desk. I leave my mic always on this mic stand folded up in the corner of my room. And now my second monitor can turn to face me where I sit when I record, so I don't have to start it and walk over to where I sit. And I also got another keyboard and a mouse, so I can just reach over. Even in the future when I have a guest, I'll just be able to reach over, hit record, start recording, and within maybe 45 seconds I can sit down and start a podcast, which is perfect, because before it would have been like 10-20 minutes. Now everything's set up. It'll stay set up for the near future at least. So I'll be able to produce more and do this. Because once I get started, I keep going. It's just the getting started is the hard part. So, yeah, that's basically all that's new. I'm talking to an Australian man named Dylan Baird as well. Now on to the weird dream. That's also part of the reason I went and set all this stuff up for the podcast. I had a dream where, I guess we need some backstory. After hanging out with some friends, I came home, and I was super tired, but also super hungry. So I made myself bacon and eggs at like 12:30 at night, and then I went to bed, and I just crashed. And if you've eaten like a large meal before you go to bed, you know that it doesn't end well. You just have the wackiest dreams, and it's just weird, right? So I have this dream where basically I get hit by a city bus, but there's a second version of me. This was all because I fell asleep thinking about like this collaboration and how it would work and how to like pull this off. So I was thinking about like a second me, right? So basically, one of me gets hit by a city bus, and other me is like, it's like a weird out of body dream, and I'm sitting on like a bus stop bench, looking at myself just laying on the ground dead, and like I just started ranting and freaking out about all these things that I hadn't done yet. But in the dream I was ranting, and the craziest thing is I remember them. So I woke up and made a list, and the craziest part is because I was going to bed thinking about the podcast. It's all podcast stuff. Like I want to break 100 episodes, 200 episodes. I'd like to get over 100 subs. Like, I'd like to grow this podcast. And it was all stuff like that I hadn't accomplished yet. And Not Dead Me was getting mad at Dead Me for it. So then I woke up, and I was like, well, that was way too specific at the time where I was rethinking if anyone even likes the podcast. That's weird. That's really weird. So, I should do something about this. So I wrote it all down in my notebook, and I set aside a bit of time and got everything set up, and that's currently how you're listening to me. So if everything is going well and everything I set up actually worked, you'll end up hearing this episode. If not, it'll just end up in the scrap bin with a few other episodes. But yeah, that was sufficiently weird. I don't really know what to think about that. or how I feel about it, because it's kind of weird having a out-of-body experience in a dream caused by eating bacon and eggs. So that is pretty much what I have been up to for the last few months. Oh, right. Thing of the week. My thing of the week this week would probably have to be my earbuds. I've been using them a ton over quarantine, whether it be with my computer for the podcast. It's currently how I've been listening to myself and monitoring the audio for this episode because my headphones died. Anyways, they are the Samsung AKGs. I'm not sure if AKG makes them or Samsung makes them or some combination of both. But as opposed to the earbuds that you get with like your iPhone, like the Apple earbuds, they don't suck. They're actually really good. And people will be like, well, Apple earbuds are good. You put Apple earbuds through the wash, they get all crackly. These earbuds have taken so much abuse, and they're still so comfortable, and they don't crackle at all. The cord is still, like the connector thing is still tight. They still sound amazing, just like the day I got them. But I'm not a careful person, and when I get earbuds, I wreck them because they go through the wash in the pocket of my jeans. I leave them out, the cat chews on them. These earbuds have taken so much abuse. The worst thing that's ever happened to them would be I left them outside in the middle of a rainstorm because they fell out of my jacket, and I found them, or my neighbor found them when mowing the lawn. He ran over them with the lawnmower, and that's when he found them. Sorry, I didn't mean to get that close to the mic. That's probably really loud. But he found them after running them over with the lawnmower. They've been through the washing machine countless times. I crashed my bike while wearing them, and they got hooked on the bike. But because they stay in your ears so well and block out so much noise, the cable actually got yanked out of my phone because it didn't come out of my ears because they fit my ears so well. So anyways, if you're looking for some really good earbuds, and I think they're only like $9 too, like $9 brand new. So if you're looking for some good earbuds, get yourself some AKGs. And the best part is they actually have aluminum, like an aluminum body on the outside. So they're super... Mine, the AKG logos have almost completely worn off because of all of the abuse I've put them through. But they don't kink after a while. Like, they don't stay tangled. They don't really tangle because they have like a braided cord. They're just amazing earbuds. So if you're looking for some really, really good earbuds, I would strongly recommend them. So anyways, that pretty much concludes today's episode of The Dylan Baird Show. Thank you again, as always, for stopping by. If you don't already, go follow me on Instagram at Dylan Baird Media. And if you like this podcast, you already know what to do, so I'm not going to ask you. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye.